Well, I believe that the public is quite curious and there is a keen interest in learning about deafness and sign language and deaf culture. However, busy lives tend to take over sometimes, and there's not much that has been, done, I believe, by the public to become more inquisitive and learn more and get really involved. So when it comes to awareness, I'm not even sure that they know how much of a disadvantage the deaf community is in Namibia. And that is the reason why we advocate and we create awareness such as this conversation, is that we want more people to go out there and be aware and try to be more self-proactive into seeking information, not just for the deaf community, but because you also never know when you could be part of that community at some point. So curiosity is there, but we need to do a bit more in being proactive and trying to seek the knowledge ourselves.
Yeah. And Linea, what role does education play in improving sign language recognition and the use in Namibia?
Education is very, very important, of course, as it's obviously the key to success. It's the most important tool that we have and that we can use in Namibia to push forward the agenda to recognize the use of sign language in Namibia. And I say that because education is a really, really huge sector where impact can be really, really seen should things go the way it was, planned to go. So if we look at the education sector, we have many schools all over Namibia who are responsible for the education for deaf children, hard of hearing children, children with hearing loss. And these schools can really be a huge voice that can create a large impact for our country when it comes to the recognition of sign language. So there needs to be one voice. There needs to be unity within the education sector, from teachers, from parents, principals, even education officers and members in the Ministry of Education, all the way to the minister and the ED. There needs to be one voice from everybody to say, this is what we need in order to help the deaf community to thrive and be more successful. And this is what we're going to do, and be proactive and work towards it, so that everything else, when it falls in, when it comes to policies and legislature, passing bills through Parliament, all of that will fall so much easier into place because there's a huge backing from the community out there for the recognition of sign language in Namibia.
Mm. And how can various stakeholders support the use of sign language and promote awareness in their various capacities?
Well, this is very, very important because everybody can play a part, no matter how minimal or how small they think it is. So in your own capacity as an individual, you can be proactive and say, learn something simple every day, or even just once or twice a week, where you can go on. We have various platforms now where you can, learn sign language, even if it's at no cost. There are videos available on YouTube. So taking that first step and saying, I want to learn how to sign or fingerspell the alphabet so I can learn how to fingerspell my name. That is something so simple that even just one individual can really make a difference for the deaf community. And when it comes to now the larger bodies, looking at the different sectors and industries that we have, imagine that, the law, when it comes to lawmakers, if they also decided, we're going to be proactive and we're going to have a certain number of lawyers and a certain number of judges who we're going to send for training to learn sign language so that we can better serve our clients and, give knowledge in the language that deaf people understand. Then, of course, that will already minimize time because knowledge is power. And definitely in the education sector, a whole lot is already being done in that part. Even when it comes to environment and, we can push it all the way to green hydrogen and really put information out there in a language that people understand so that Nelson Mandela once said, if you speak to a man in their language, they will understand you better. Mm. So if we speak to deaf people in writing, it's still English. It's not going to touch their heart. And the way to their heart is really through sign language because they will really understand what you're trying to say and they will get on board with whatever it is that needs to be done. So in order for everybody to come through and really make an impact, it starts really small, but it can grow to a much, much bigger, ordeal where everybody can say, I'm part of a movement. I'm part of an idea that can be so much more and that is so much bigger than myself. So various stakeholders can do so by sending their various members for training to do sign language courses, get involved with deaf communities that are in their area, and be a participant in whatever happens so that they also are involved and that they feel like they're supported and included.
Yeah. Now, how can legislation be improved to better support the deaf community and their language rights?
Well, of course, this can be done by seeking out the most important thing. And at this stage, it is the recognition of sign language. And we've come so close. In Parliament, we're waiting for a bill to be passed for the recognition of sign language. And, we always drive and, push this because it's so important for the deaf community to have their language recognized. I don't think anybody would want to be in a home where they don't feel like they're seen. And this would really help them feel like they're at home, that they're welcome, that they belong here, and that they are part of us. So in doing so and, making sure that we recognize them and saying, we know you are here, we know you're a part of us, we welcome you with open arms and we support who you are, and we want to learn about you. So legislation is a very huge and big part in trying to get, the recognition of sign language in Namibia. And South Africa has done it, so Namibia will definitely be following suit soon. Yeah. It's so important for people to, language brings a community together. And with language, you're at home everywhere. So who wouldn't want to feel at home in their own country?
Exactly.
So I think we definitely need to start making, proactive and positive decisions that can really help support the deaf community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just finally, Linea, what role does social media play in raising awareness about sign language in Namibia? Social media is so important. Yeah. And I love this question because, social media is now a part of us. It's part of our daily routines. It's part of our, our daily lives. And so really having social media be a part of our message carrier is a huge thing. When you look at how something so simple can blow up in a matter of minutes or hours, letting something trend just by being so simple, I think it's so important. And using social media as a tool to give information and to educate and to create awareness is so important in raising awareness for about sign language. And for Namibia specifically, because we have such a large population of young people who are driven to social media, the Instagrams and, the podcasts that are happening. So gone are the days where it's just a little community of elders who are listening to radio stations, but now it's everybody. A simple drive home, and you have information already, playing on the radio station. So it's like everything is so available nowadays with a click of a finger on a smart device, and so it's so important that we use social media positively and in raising awareness, so that put any thought. Any thought or idea, or even if it's a simple question that you would like to raise about sign language, use social media, because there's so many people who are active and who can give information and who are, easily accessible through social media. You can also connect different communities through social media, even from those who are from overseas and not just within our country. So it's so important that we learn from, the big dogs in the industry when it comes to social media, like America. They really, really use it wisely when it comes to putting information out there. So we are doing the same thing. Even just look at how I've gotten in contact with you, Marcello.
Yeah.
It was through social media.
Through social media,
so
yes.
Yes, so it's one of the big tools that many of us use nowadays to get in touch with people and seek information and, be more knowledgeable. So definitely social media is one of our tools that we use at National Sign Language Institute. Classes can also be offered online. We have conferences and Zoom calls, etc., where you can just simply tune in and learn a sign or two for that little moments that you are accessible. So it's a huge tool, and I encourage all of us, especially young people and, all of us in the workspaces, to use it wisely and as a tool for us to gain more information in learning about Namibian Sign Language.
Yeah.